Let us start with the absolute bombshell that is going to rock Fairmont Crest to its very core. According to the latest spoilers for Monday, July 13, the high-stakes legal drama surrounding Dr. Madison Montgomery's deposition is going to take a terrifying and life-threatening turn. We already knew that the deposition on Friday, July 10 was going disastrously wrong for everyone involved, especially for Madison and her legal team, Naomi and Bill Hamilton. The deposition itself was already a powder keg waiting to explode. Dr. Madison Montgomery has been under immense scrutiny, and her testimony hitting a snag meant that Bill was already sweating bullets. Mike Davis, with his trademark smugness, has been employing psychological warfare, trying to corner Bill and Madison into a devastating admission. The sheer intensity of this legal battle is suffocating, but the pressure in that room is nothing compared to the physical collapse that is about to happen. Bill Hamilton is going to be rushed to the emergency room in critical condition. Yes, you heard that right. The high-powered, incredibly arrogant attorney is going to hit the floor, and this is not just a case of exhaustion or stress from battling the ruthless Mike Davis. So this makes me wonder, is this the moment Hayley Hamilton's sinister, slow-burn murder plot finally reaches its climax? For weeks, I have been watching in absolute horror and fascination as Hayley has been secretly slipping her special juice, a lethal poison, into Bill's drinks. She has been playing the role of the fiercely loyal and devoted wife, standing by his side and defending him against Mike Davis, all while literally killing him from the inside out so she can get her hands on that massive $10 million life insurance. We saw Bill suffering from severe hand tremors recently, a clear sign that the toxins were building up in his. Now, a massive collapse during a high-stress legal proceeding is the perfect cover for her crime. It looks like a heart attack or a stroke caused by professional stress, which is exactly what a calculating Black Widow like Hayley would want. Let us not forget that Hayley isn't working entirely alone. She has been conspiring with her sleazy cousin Randy Parker. If Bill survives this initial collapse, will Randy be sent into the hospital disguised as a janitor or orderly to finish the job? The thought of Hayley and Randy plotting in the hospital corridors while Bill fights for his life on a ventilator sends shivers down my spine. But that is not all. My theory is that Bill's emergency room visit is going to open up a Pandora's box of medical mystery. When a high-profile lawyer is rushed to Garland Memorial, the doctors are going to run every test imaginable. Will they order a toxicology screen? If they do, Hayley's entire murderous house of cards could come crashing down. I am desperately hoping that a sharp doctor, maybe even someone like Dr. Kiel Rollins, or the new chief of staff, Dr. Monica McCormick, notices something anomalous in his blood work. What if Bill falls into a deep coma, leaving Hayley to play the grieving bedside wife while secretly hoping he never wakes up? Or worse, what if he dies and an autopsy reveals the poison? The possibilities for his fate are endless. He could survive but be left paralyzed or brain damaged. He could wake up with amnesia, or he could tragically pass away, setting off a massive homicide investigation led by Police Chief Elon Hawthorne. And how is Mike Davis going to react to that? The man is a ruthless, arrogant shark who wants nothing more than to destroy his former boss. Knowing Mike, he might actually accuse Bill of faking a medical emergency just to delay the deposition and buy time for Madison's failing case. I can just picture Mike standing over Bill's collapsed body, rolling his eyes and demanding that the court reporter keep the record open. The sheer audacity of these lawyers is staggering, but this time, the life or death stakes are terrifyingly real. This catastrophic event brings me to another deeply conflicted character, Danny Dupree. When Danny hears that her ex-husband has been rushed to the hospital, her reaction is going to be incredibly complex and layered with toxic guilt. We know that Danny and Andre Richardson are desperately trying to find common ground and reconcile the emotional distance that has grown between them since the devastating tornado. Andre, being the sweet, supportive, and fiercely protective husband that he is convinced that Danny is suffering from severe post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, from being trapped in that dark elevator during the storm. He thinks her erratic behavior, her sudden panic attacks, and her emotional withdrawal are all trauma responses to the natural disaster. However, I know the dark, scandalous truth, and it makes me sick with anxiety for Andre. Danny is not suffering from tornado PTSD. She is being eaten alive by the guilt of having passionate, panic-induced sex with Bill in that very elevator. Every time Andre looks at her with those loving, concerned eyes, it must feel like a dagger to Danny's heart. She is carrying this massive, explosive secret. And now, with Bill fighting for his life in the hospital, her guilt is going to skyrocket. She might even irrationally blame herself, wondering if the physical exertion and emotional stress of their secret hookup somehow contributed to his collapse. Furthermore, Danny is not just dealing with infidelity guilt. She is carrying the crushing weight of Naomi's recent confession about testing positive for the BRCA gene. Danny shares this genetic marker but has been in complete denial, furiously rejecting Andre's pleas to look into preventative health measures because she refuses to alter her model physique. This toxic cocktail of medical terror and marital deceit is going to push Danny to the absolute brink. This leads to a highly dramatic speculation. What if Bill, in a delirious, semi-conscious state in the emergency room, starts mumbling about the elevator? What if he calls out Danny's name instead of Hayley's? Imagine Andre standing by the hospital bed trying to support his wife's ex-husband, only to hear Bill confess to the affair in a drug-induced haze. Or what if Danny, overwhelmed by the fear that Bill might die, breaks down and confesses the truth to Andre in a moment of sheer weakness? If Andre finds out that his wife slept with her toxic ex-husband while he was out there terrified for her life, it will completely destroy their marriage. I am absolutely terrified for their relationship, especially since the pressure is mounting from all sides. Shifting gears from the hospital to the real estate market, we need to talk about the absolute chaos surrounding Catherine "Cat" Richardson and her highly erratic behavior. Kat's family is growing increasingly worried about her, and honestly, I am completely on their side. Kat recently made a wildly impulsive decision to purchase a luxury condo for her and Tomas Navarro to live in. She bought this expensive piece of real estate in a matter of hours, clearly hoping that Tomas would be thrilled by the grand gesture and eagerly move in with her. Instead, the plan backfired spectacularly. Tomas, who holds very traditional old-school values, flat out refused the idea. He felt completely emasculated by the fact that the condo was entirely hers and not theirs. He point-blank told her that he refuses to be a kept man and does not want anyone thinking he is only with her for her immense wealth. They eventually reached a tense compromise where he agreed to a trial move-in, insisting on paying rent and splitting the utilities, but he made it very clear that he is not officially moving in the traditional sense. This brings us to Nicole Dupree, Kat's mother, who has some incredibly sharp maternal intuition. Nicole is deeply worried that Kat bought this condo for all the wrong reasons, and my theory aligns perfectly with hers. Let us not forget the absolute humiliation Tomas endured when he dropped to one knee and publicly proposed to Kat in front of her entire family at her welcome home party, only for Kat to give him a horrifyingly unexpected answer. She essentially rejected him, telling him she was not ready for marriage. I firmly believe that Kat bought this condo out of overwhelming, suffocating guilt. She shattered his ego with that public rejection, and now she is desperately trying to buy his affection and prove her commitment through a massive financial purchase. But that is not all the drama Kat is facing. The upcoming spoilers reveal that Chelsea Hamilton is going to approach Kat with a brand new pitch or idea, and it is going to go over like a lead balloon. Kat is going to be incredibly unhappy with whatever Chelsea suggests, leading to a massive clash between the cousins and business partners. So this makes me wonder, what on earth is Chelsea proposing? Could Chelsea be suggesting that they use Kat's new luxury condo as the official headquarters for their fashion brand, Chelsea Cat? Kat just bought this place to establish her independence and build a private sanctuary for her and Tomas. So if Chelsea tries to invade that personal space for business purposes, Kat is going to absolutely explode. Alternatively, maybe Chelsea's pitch is about the future direction of the Chelsea Cat brand, perhaps suggesting they bring in an outside investor or change their creative vision, which control freak Kat will violently oppose. While these two have had their fair share of bitter disagreements in the past, they almost always manage to make up and find common ground. However, Kat is currently operating on a hair-trigger temper, making any resolution incredibly difficult to predict. If we look at the psychological layers here, Kat's erratic behavior makes total sense. She recently underwent a massive, life-threatening surgery to donate a portion of her liver to her half-sister, Eva Thomas. For weeks, Kat felt like her bodily autonomy was being stripped away as her entire family pressured, guilt-tripped, and bullied her into becoming a living donor for a girl she actively despises. Kat's trauma is deeply tied to Eva Thomas. Let us remember the horrific alternate reality dream Kat had while in her coma, where she saw Eva stealing her life, her family, and even Tomas. That dream profoundly shifted Kat's perspective, but it also left deep psychological scars. She woke up realizing she had to carve out a space that was entirely her own, free from the lingering shadows of Eva, Leslie, and the constant family drama. My ultimate theory is that Kat is pushing everyone away, Tomas, Chelsea, and her parents, because she is terrified of losing herself again. She gave away a literal piece of her body, and now she is aggressively guarding her heart, her finances, and her living space. Buying the condo was a frantic grab for autonomy. Rejecting Tomas's proposal was a refusal to be tied down before she was ready. If Tomas continues to push his fragile masculinity issues, and if Chelsea continues to overstep boundaries, Kat might just isolate herself completely. Will Tomas pack his bags and leave the trial move-in? Will Chelsea Kat dissolve into a bitter legal battle? And returning to the hospital, will Bill Hamilton survive the lethal poison coursing through his veins, or will Hayley finally inherit her blood money? The stakes have never been higher in Fairmont Crest, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how this explosive week unfolds.